Your music isn't bad, it just might be forgettable. And I don't mean that in a harsh way. This is literally what record labels have said to me countless times in the past. They'd say this sounds nice, but it needs to be more unique. And I never really understood what they meant by that until now. But now I've kind of figured that out. I want to show you one thing that you can do today with your song to fix this problem and make sure that you never get feedback from a record label like this again. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. When you send your track to a record label or to a producer for feedback and they say it sounds nice or it sounds good, but it's not quite for them, what they're really saying is that you've definitely got some good elements in that track. You might have a nice melody, you might have chosen some nice sounds, or the mix might sound good. But what they're actually saying underneath that is there's nothing for people to remember it. There's nothing that stands out. But this is where most producers go wrong. Because, and I've fallen for this trap too, as producers we try and focus so much on getting this like beautifully perfect balanced mix. We want a nice melody, we want a nice low end. We're just going in on trying to make it sound as sort of good and professional as we can, that we forget like the one main element, which is that actually for a song to be memorable, there has to be something that creeps through that perfect mix and stands out and makes someone sort of remember the song and think, I want to go and listen to that again. So basically, if everything in your song sounds nice, sounds balanced, then nothing's going to stand out. And if nothing stands out, then nothing's going to stick for the listener. They'll finish the song, they won't remember it, they won't think to come back to it, and they'll just move on to the next song that the Spotify algorithm gives them to listen to. Okay, so with all that said, here's a framework that you can use today in the studio on your next track to make sure that your songs are memorable. And it all comes down to one thing. Each track needs one thing that people will remember. Not 10 things and not everything sounding good, just one thing that people will go, oh, that's the song that has that melody. That's the song that has that vocal. And it might even be that it's just a moment in the song. It might not even be the whole song. It's just that at one moment, this one vocal hits or this one melody hits or the kick drum comes back in and it sounds amazing. That's all that people need to remember. And this is proven by social media, because when we promote our songs, we only take about like a 10-second bit and we post that online, and sometimes that they blow up and make people go viral. They create music careers for people, and all based on just posting little snippets of their song. And it shows that you don't have to have the whole song, perfect. There just needs to be a moment, and whether that's a moment that lasts 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then the rest of the song obviously complements it and sounds great, or whether it's a melody that runs the whole way through a song that just sounds great. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as there's one thing that people remember, then you're onto a winner. So use this next format when you're in the studio making a song and you're wondering whether it's good enough or not. Think to yourself, if I asked you, what's the one thing about this song that people remember? What's the one thing that stands out? And if you can't answer that question instantly, then there lies the problem. Because the listener's not going to figure it out for you. You have to decide it in the studio. If you can answer it quickly, then you're fine. You just need to push that element a little bit further. If you said to me, the thing that stands out is this melody, great, make that the main thing about this song, and then everything else around it can just complement it. Now this will get you so far, but I want to push you a little bit further here. So you might say to me, the melody is the thing that stands out, but I've got another question for you. I'd say, is that element strong enough to carry the track? And if you say yes, the melody's the main thing and it's super strong, I love it, I feel great when I'm listening to it, send it to some producers and they all said the same thing, then you've probably done it. You've got a song that's got a clear thing that people are going to remember, and you just need to finish that track. But if you say to me that the melody's the main point and you've sent it to some producers or a record label and they're saying, it's still just nice, then it might mean that that melody alone or that part of the song isn't quite drawing people in enough. And whether it needs something else alongside it, like a melody and a vocal that combine together to make the track memorable, or whether that melody is good, it just needs to be pushed a little bit more, maybe a little bit louder in the mix, maybe it just needs to have a little bit more sort of interesting automation or something like that. And they're the kind of things to think about in the studio if your songs still aren't quite hitting. So to make your songs unforgettable, you just need one thing that the listener can remember. To do that in the studio, always ask yourself, what's the one thing about this track that people might come back to? What's the one thing that stands out? And then once you've chosen that one thing, then ask yourself, is this thing strong enough to hold the entire track. If you start implementing this kind of change and seeing this in a different way, then your songs can sound so much better. Now, I've personally been through all this myself. I had a long time where I was getting quite a lot of rejections from record labels, and then I started to make some songs where there was definitely some clearer identity, some clearer things within the songs that people can remember, and then I started getting more songs signed. My monthly listeners started going up. People start reacting to my music and my social posts a little bit more. So go give this a go next time in the studio. I hope this video has helped. If it has, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I've got a ton of videos like this coming up soon, so stay in the loop and I'll catch you on the next video.